one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Well, hi everybody. Again, second live for today. Uh, so I'm ready for bed. Okay. Quickly put some gloss on, whatever, threw my hair up. Um, Melissa, I was just sitting there and I was watching all the coverage on Nancy Guthrie, and I was like, I don't, I never really followed the case. And last night I was watching Pascal, and he was doing. I mean, he's always so funny, and I just love his coverage with everything, and just made me want to learn about the case. And I watched a little bit today, but I was more so looking at, well, Jack and Lily stuff and whatever. But tonight, I don't know. I just had this urge to come and talk to people about this case and wanting to learn about it and catch up. How, Thank you for joining me, though. It feels like last minute. I feel bad.
Yeah, definitely last minute.
But we're here and we're doing our thing. 37 people here. Perfect. Um Mostly my mods. Rena, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Why is Oh, Gran, you're in Melissa's. Awesome. Okay, you're in both. Perfect. 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 Yes. Let's all pray for Nancy. I just get a really bad feeling about this. So, what I thought would be the best way to do this, because Melissa and I, neither one of us are up to speed on this case at all. I've already formed an opinion. It's probably bad, but I think the best thing for us to do is start at the beginning, as far back as we can go. And it's only been a week. It's only been a week. So that's something as well. Um, so, hey, April and Lacey, good to see you both. And Bev, back again. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Regular, um, all the regulars for Jack and Lily are here for Nancy. So, just really quickly, I am going to pull up and read, if it's okay with you, Melissa, a wiki, a wiki page about this case, just to give us like an overview. It's usually a good place to start because it's the public who actually feed the information into wiki, right? So if y'all know anything, if this isn't accurate, let us know and well, I'm not going to submit any changes to Wikipedia, but at least you can keep us on track, okay? So, do you mind if I read this, Melissa?
No, go ahead.
All right. All right. Hey, yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. My eyes are really bothering me, hence the glasses, but I can't read with my glasses on in this light. So bear with me. On February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old mother of NBC News journalist and Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, and Cameron Guthrie, was reported missing from her home in Catalina Foothills, Arizona. Evidence found at the residence indicated she was taken from the house against her will and that she may have been kidnapped or abducted. The Pima County Sheriff, Chris Nanos, has stated that he believes she was abducted. The investigation, led by the Pima County Sheriff's Department with the assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, and search and rescue teams, has involved extensive forensic analysis, neighborhood canvassing, and review of surveillance footage. Blood stains found at the scene were determined to be Guthrie's. The case has confounded law enforcement, which as of February the 8th, did not know if Guthrie was alive or dead. Authorities have stated that Guthrie, who has limited mobility and requires daily medication, did not leave voluntarily and is considered a vulnerable adult. Family pleas have failed to yield proof that Guthrie is alive. Multiple ransom notes of undetermined origin demanding payment in cryptocurrency, which Bitcoin, have been reported by media outlets and are under investigation. It has not been confirmed if any were sent to the person by the persons holding Guthrie. The case has received national attention due to Guthrie being the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who suspended her broadcasting duties, including coverage of the 2026 Winter Olympics, to participate in the search. The White House and Donald Trump have publicly expressed support for the family and offered federal assistance. Okay, so here is a little bit of a timeline for Saturday, January 31st. Just making sure. I know, especially given her medals. Okay, so I'm gonna keep looking over at chat just to see if I've got anything that this is wrong and you guys are correcting me on anything. Okay, so 5:32 p.m. on Saturday, January 31st, Guthrie takes an Uber to her daughter Annie's home for dinner. How far away is Annie's home? I believe Brian Enton said like 10 minutes down the road. Is that accurate, you guys? Do you guys know? And then that same day at 9:48 p.m., Guthrie is dropped off by her son-in-law and Annie's husband, Tommaso Cioni. And 2 minutes later, Guthrie's garage door is closed at 9:50. Tommaso reportedly drives off at this time. Okay, 10 minutes away. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so then we hit 1:47 a.m. A doorbell camera at Guthrie's home disconnects. 2:12 a.m. software detects someone on one of the other cameras, but no video is available. 2:28 a.m. Guthrie's pacemaker app is disconnected from her phone. And then fast forward to 11 a.m. A churchgoer calls Guthrie's family to report that she never made it to church. 56 minutes later, relatives arrive at Nancy's home and discover that she is missing. 12:03 p.m., Nancy's family calls the police, and by 12:15, the police arrive. The Pima County Sheriff's Department arrives. Let's skip down to the ransom notes. I'd like to know more about that. Hey, little black bear, nurse, and trail hiker. Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. This is weird, right? This is weird, but it's okay. It's nighttime. I should be in bed. Who knew? Okay. Ransom notes. Do you have anything you want to say, Melissa, about this so far?
I'm taking notes as we go, that things that are concerning to me.
Perfect. I'm glad one of us is. Okay. Ransom notes. Multiple media outlets reported receiving ransom notes in connection with Guthrie's disappearance, and efforts were underway to determine if they were sent by individuals holding Guthrie. I'm going to start calling her Nancy. Authorities neither confirmed nor denied the validity of the notes. Sorry. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD TV, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, reported that it had received a letter demanding payment for Nancy's release. CBS News reported that investigators reviewed the letter, took it seriously, and shared it with the FBI, though authorities declined to confirm whether it was sent by someone holding Nancy. The note was said to contain specific details about Nancy's home and what she was wearing on the night she disappeared, and investigators requested that its contents not be publicly disclosed. The following day, TMZ reported that it had received an alleged ransom note demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin, including a specific cryptocurrency address and a deadline. I wonder if that's easily traced if they have a cryptocurrency address. On February 5th, 2026, Harvey Levin, founder of TMZ, claimed to have received a ransom note relating to Nancy's disappearance, allegedly stating, quote, "You will have no way of contacting me." That evening, Levin again claimed that he had a ransom letter indicating that Nancy is still alive but scared and is aware of the demands being made, and that this will be their only communication. Levin also emphasized that he and his staff are unsure of the validity of the letter. It is unclear whether these notes were written by a person involved in the disappearance of Nancy or if they were hoaxes. Blockchain, okay. The Pima County Sheriff's Department acknowledged that it was aware of reports concerning ransom notes and stated that all tips and materials were being forwarded to detectives working with the FBI. And on February 5th, a California man was arrested on federal charges alleging that he had posed as an abductor and demanded ransom from the Guthrie family. Authorities stated that the scheme was unrelated to the other ransom demands that had received wide publicity. In a video released on February 7th, Savannah Guthrie stated that we will pay. The following day, it was reported that the ransom demand was $6 million with a deadline of 5 p.m. on February 9th, which is tomorrow. All right. I think that kind of encompasses where we're at so far. Do you have
Well,
anything yet?
so if you go a little bit further down, and this is something that concerned me, and one of the few things that I've caught on the case is on February 7th, 2026, Savannah and her siblings released a video seemingly referencing a person or group that may be involved in their mother's disappearance, with Savannah stating, "We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us and we will pay." So much in that response gets me.
I didn't even see that. Okay. So where is it? Released a video referencing a person or group that may be involved in the mother's disappearance. And we received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mothers to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. It is possible that Nancy is alive and is being held for ransom. However, no official confirmation has been made relating to her disappearance, as investigations from the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI are still underway. There is, obviously, we know that there is video of that. Do you want to skip ahead to that video, or do you want
Yeah, we
to?
can watch it. I mean, we just read what was said, but we can watch it.
Okay, it would be this one. All right, so It's not that I don't want to watch all of Brian Enton, but I am going to fast forward to the part where he starts playing that. This is full credit, Brian Enton, of course. Amazing. I think we found. Just one sec. X vehicle. Okay. I suck at this part, trying to find exact spots. I'm pretty sure. Or did he play it at the beginning? Yes, he did. Okay. 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 All right. Actually, I gotta. Shit. Remove. I gotta reshare it because that was just an article that I shared before, so I didn't have sound. Now I have sound, and now I will share it and I will play it.
He will pay, and she is addressing the alleged abductors. Listen to this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
It was awful.
That is very disturbing and very heartbreaking because, like, I don't even know what to say, you know? Like, this is a much, because I remember seeing the first video that they did, and this is a much different tone, for sure. Annie is fake. Let's go one more time.
With her sister and brother again, where she says this time, we will pay, and she is addressing the alleged abductors. Listen to this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So what exactly are you guys thinking? Why is Annie fake, you guys? Yeah, Bev, this is the sister whose husband I am going to quickly just pull something up that my mod shared with me not too terribly long ago. I'm going to scroll up. Um, hmm. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right, let me just cover this up. Take this down and put this up. What? A minute. It's coming. So, apparently, this is her husband. And I don't know where this post came from or anything. I don't know who's posting, so I'm just going to read it. So the one with the beard on the left is the husband. And so the one on the right is named Dominic Aaron Lee Evans, has a criminal history in Arizona, alleged past arrests for charges including burglary, robbery, embezzlement, and DUI, with specific mentions of a burglary charge in Pima County. So the husband's name is Tommaso Cioni. He's a bass player and vocalist. And their band is called Early Black. I believe. Anything to add yet, Melissa?
Not really, not as far as the band goes. I mean, it's creepy picture. It looks like they're sitting in a bathroom toilet stall together, but
He's a teacher, Amy, is he? So somebody wants to know, let me see. Where's that question? Who wrote the first ransom note? Nancy, oops, with three. Hmm. Well, I'm not seeing any quick AI response. What does Vinny's page say? A ransom note for the return of Nancy Guthrie has been sent to several media outlets, including KGUN in Tucson. The demand is in the millions paid in Bitcoin by Thursday, with a deadline that the money must be received by Monday. They also threatened to end Nancy's life. They also claim to have knowledge of two specific items from the crime scene. All of this is frightening and barbaric, but it is legitimate or someone trying, but is it legitimate or someone trying to take advantage of the Guthrie's tragic situation? But I mean, if they claim to have knowledge of the crime scene, two specific items, that's that's something. What do you think? What do you think of that?
well, it's something that I had wrote down. You know, it said that the one ransom note had specific information like what she was wearing and things like that, and it should be somewhat easy to confirm those details. So it makes me wonder, were those details correct, or were they wrong? Because if they're correct, then I give it a little more validity, whereas if it's not correct, then sadly it's probably somebody that's just wanting to put the family through more pain.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so that was the we will pay, and let's just hit chat for a couple of minutes. Celebrate makes me think of a celebration of life, peace, like rest in peace. Also, can't help but notice they don't ask for proof of life anymore.
Bingo.
No. It's really good observation, Sailor. It's very true. I
But
saw in
on
the
top
news.
of that, they said this is valid to us, or this is valuable to us, right? Well, not it wasn't. Our mom is valuable to us. Her love is valuable to us. They referred to her, Nancy, as this, and saying this is valuable to us, along with celebration, like a celebration of life, or that's the only way they're going to have peace. Like, she's not alive anymore. Those were some things I noticed in that statement, or whatever it was, that video that they released.
Yeah, very different than their first statement. So, do you know? Um, I would like to watch the first when the family first spoke. Was that within the first couple of days, you guys, or did it take a while? Sorry.
I thought it was
Um,
within the first couple days.
I did too. Who took Nancy, Savannah's mother, on the scene? Blood found on the scene. Suspect. I wanted to try to stay with Brian, but I mean, we can. we can look for something else. Any suggestions? Where okay.
Your
Let's go
boyfriend
with
posted it, I thought.
I'm sure he did, but I mean he's got so many live streams. Should we go to Vinny, you guys? Everybody loves Vinny. Am I right? Vinny Politan. Vinny Politan. You guys seeing my screen? No way. That's too bad. Videos. He does these live streams. Okay. All right. We will pay. Yeah, you know what? I don't think he did. We have to remember that Vinny actually knows Savannah. So this wasn't something that he jumped on, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean anybody's like jumping on it for clicks and views or whatever. I'm just saying this, I think, hit Vinny a little bit different than a regular, just the next story. So I don't think he grabbed it. I don't think he started covering it until just like 2 days ago. So, all right. Paying release ransom for, okay. I don't know where to find it. We will pay. That's that one.
I'll
It's on
send
her
you the link.
Instagram. Okay, good. Oh, stop it. This drove me nuts. Do you guys, okay, you don't see this. I saw this. Just a sec. I want to show you. This is so stupid. Not the person, but just the idea is so stupid. Why is it doing this? One sec. Share screen. Check this out. So this, I'm not going to make it bigger. But this here, somebody's like, did anybody notice Savannah's 6 fingers? That's literally Annie's fingers. Like Savannah's holding her hand and one of Annie's fingers is like sticking out at the end. And people are like, oh, she has 6 fingers. And this just got weirder. Nancy Guthrie connected to Epstein. I mean, I can't say either way, but just, can we focus, please? This poor lady is missing. Get a grip. Did you send me a link? Melissa,
Yes.
you disappearing on me? Okay. Okay, good. Court TV. Gotcha.
No, you've got to investigate the people closest, so you begin.
Yeah, but there's maybe I don't know if these guys do copyright strikes or not. Either way, we're gonna watch it. Just cause this is Court TV. This is my guy doing his thing. I'm gonna get rid of your comment. I'm going to
10 minutes away. Nancy's other daughter is Savannah Guthrie, host of the Today Show and former Court TV correspondent. On Saturday, January 31st, she was dropped off at her home by her son-in-law at about 9:45 at night. Between that time and Sunday morning, when she was supposed to go to church, something terrible happened inside her home. Nancy's family was alerted by folks at church that Nancy did not attend the service. Then when the family went to Nancy's home, they couldn't find her and called police. Almost immediately, it was clear to investigators that a crime had been committed, that Nancy had been taken forcefully from her home. Blood was found outside the front door. So while this began as a missing persons search, the homicide squad was quickly brought in to work the case. Meanwhile, Savannah and the rest of Nancy's family are asking for tips. They're asking for help. They're asking for prayers. Tonight, all the latest information that's been released by law enforcement. We are live from Tucson as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Another night, and still Nancy Guthrie has not been found, has not come home. This is such an unusual story. Never come across one quite like this before. Kidnappings, abductions are somewhat rare. The abductions that we're used to seeing are, predators going after children or women out jogging. We've seen that. We've never seen anything quite like this.
I mean, when he's right, he's right. You know, it's unusual. I want to just back up a little bit and go through chat a little bit. Yeah, I saw that they were at Annie's house late last night. I heard they took luminol inside, and I also heard taking pictures, the flash photography. I heard. I hate to say this, psychics don't think she's alive. Do you think arrests are coming? I think it would be really hard this day and age to get away with this type of thing. But you also have to wonder why they kept releasing the scene and then securing it again. What was it, 4 times? And then they went to Annie's house as well. They didn't tow her car, I think, until yesterday. I mean, it doesn't seem like a well executed response or investigation. I like, just from what I've heard. Sweet baby Jesus, what the hell? Right. I've heard he is a biology teacher at a charter school or a science teacher. That's interesting. Monday at 5 is a deadline. Yeah. Am I really far behind, Mont? I also believe some guy in California was arrested for sending fake. I did see that. I saw his mugshot. Uh, the psychics have a lot to say about it. They don't think they no longer are alive. Yeah. It's been 8 days and she doesn't have her meds. How can she survive? Depends on her meds. Depends on her treatment, I would say. There was some speculation that because it's so close to the border, they could get medication for her. I don't know. The ransom is a ploy so people will believe Nancy didn't know them. And also probably to buy time to make people think that she's still alive. Could be. Someone said the Google searches for Nancy Guthrie spike outside the US in the last month before she disappeared. Could I'm not even going to say it, the cartel be involved, as it's only 70 miles from the border? Is that possible, do you think?
Maybe if she was an investigative reporter, but her not being an investigative reporter, I don't see what the end result of that would be. Generally, if the cartel's involved, it's in retaliation or drugs or something of that nature. So highly doubtful. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I would say highly doubtful. I think it's more of something else, in my opinion.
So I think also, maybe I'm reading too into it, but if you have if you have just a random person who has abducted the mother of a famous person for to send any kind of a message or to legitimately get ransom, are you sending those ransom letters to these small local media outlets, or are you sending it to the big boys, to the NBCs where the actual um daughter works? You know, that part didn't make sense to me either. Um,
Yeah, I agree on that one.
yeah, just that doesn't sit right with me. It's almost like it's a distraction, something to give more time. So people think that there's still a chance that she's going to be found alive. The Bitcoin is probably just a red herring. I don't know. Tommaso's band plays very grungy music similar to the all-edge musician that allegedly wrote the first ransom note. Really? Okay, so 23:30. How did you get that so fast, Melissa? Like you were gone for you certainly weren't gone for 23 minutes. All right, I'm gonna start right there-ish. Gonna mute myself again, and we're gonna play this just for a few minutes.
That would be one way to verify that these folks really are involved. So, as I've been saying, this is taking quite a toll on Nancy's family, her three children specifically, Savannah, Annie, and their brother. Let's take a look at the Instagram statement that was released last night. And I want you to watch it because all three children take an opportunity to speak throughout this. And as you watch it, imagine what they've gone through, first of all, and then think about, what are you going to say? And what can you possibly say to someone who may be holding your mother hostage?
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you. Our mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom. Okay, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you. We love.
I also sent you the brothers.
Okay, I saw that. I'll open it up. So I would like to know, because there's quite a few, there's a lot of people here. Wasn't expecting that, but I would like to know, like a number of you in the chat have been saying that Annie's body language is off. She's not trustworthy. I'd like to know what your observations are. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Just look at her body language. Just those kinds of comments. Like I'm literally, like I'm honestly asking. Um, Bev, does she have dementia or Alzheimer's? If yes, I wonder if she has some kind of monitor. My mom has Alzheimer's and a pacemaker, and they should be able to find her that way. But her pacemaker disconnected from her Apple Health, I believe. I don't know how all of that works. I was hoping you could tell me. That's why we're here, so that you guys can tell me about this. Um, think it's someone local who has a beef. Could be. Um, oh, is that? Oh, okay. I see. I get it. Okay, we will have a look at the band. One of my mods sent me the band. It was Bigfoot, Chucky Doll. Welcome, big fan. Uh, if Bitcoin is sent to one wallet, it can be traced. However, scammers will use mixers to tumble it. Then it makes it very hard to trace as it's distributed to hundreds of wallets. But wouldn't even finding one wallet at least identify a potential suspect? You would think. They only need one. I would think. I don't know. Unless it goes like from one to the other to the other. So it's like they have IP scramblers so that it automatically refreshes every like 5 seconds. So it's almost impossible to trace if you have the right program to do it. What have they done with Tommaso? He allegedly refused the polygraph, right? Really? Ashley Banfield, I mean, she's been at this for a long time, and her sources, if she has that much faith in them to come out and speak, because she said that the son-in-law was a potential person of interest, but then didn't the sheriff come out and do a press conference and say we don't have any suspects or persons of interest? And then like directly said something about online coverage. And then after that, Ashley came out and said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I have my sources and I trust my sources. The mama part creeped you out, Gran? I don't know. That's any eyebrows raised when Savannah said she has no meds and that's not normal. Okay. I missed that. I don't want to go back and, you know, she creeps you out. She seems fake. Who reported on the polygraph? I've not heard about it. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. Um, I've heard it through one of the news channels. Can't remember which one because I read a lot of them. Okay. I know CNN is basically, they've got like it's almost like a live stream dedicated to this case. So it's just like on a loop. They play all the different sound bites over and over and over again. Neither camera did release a video by himself. Annie hasn't though. True. Very true. I did see Cameron's video. Chilling bizarre behavior. And so this is the first time the family put a video out. The tone and the language is much different than the one we saw yesterday. They're humanizing their mother. They're trying to, just reiterate we are her children. She is our mother. She's loved. She's missed. We want proof of life, like somebody pointed out before. And we didn't hear any of that this last time. Yeah, American Justice, she just needs like 14 more subs to get to 500. That would be great. You guys go over and check her out. Thank you for being here. There's so many people here that I've never seen before, and I'm so thankful that everybody's here today. But it's literally because Melissa and I decided we wanted to catch up on the case, and how better to do that than to invite people in that we know are following the case. So please, like, participate in chat. Let us know your thoughts. If you look at her neck, she's got a scratch or defense mark or scar on the right side of her neck. Zoom in on her neck. Okay. Let's do that. Well, I'll have to take a clip. Are you saying like in this picture here we'll be able to see it? Oh, that's not what I want to do. My bad, my bad, my bad. I want a picture, a new picture. Then we will save it. Screenshot. Then I'll open it. Just a minute. We're relatively new on YouTube too, so we're not completely well versed in how to put stuff up and open files and all this stuff. But I got it. I got it. Don't worry. I got it. I got it. I got it. It's right here. I got it. All right. Here we go. Up you go. Zoom in. Let's over here. Top dog. It's on the left side. Over here. This is my left where I am right now. Or I guess you can't. Why can't you see my mouse? Whatever. Her right, your left. Okay. You can't see my mouse, but oh, you can see my mouse now. So are we talking up towards the ear? Because I see like a mark here. Or is it this that runs all the way down? What are you guys talking about? Wow.
That piece that runs down that you were talking about, to me, that's just all shading. I mean, it's shadowing, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's something. I honestly, it could be a couple of strands of hair, but it is different than shading. I don't know what it is, but Patriot, we usually cover a different case. I go live almost every day, but I'm covering a case of two missing children in Canada. Jack and Lily Sullivan normally. But tonight, I've been watching so much on this and I just wanted to talk about it. Um,
I just go
she,
live when I feel like it.
yeah. She looks like she doesn't act like she cares. I wonder if they flushed something that they were searching for in the septic tank. Maybe. Brian Enton had said that they had one of those large, long, like poker sticks, and they usually do stuff like that to feel for anything like larger or softer, like perhaps a body. They were using one of those. I believe this is being broadcast as largely to help put the smoke for other issues in the media. Media never cares about missing people like this. It's very odd. Maybe, but is there maybe because of who her daughter is, the age of the victim of this abduction, and the potential that all of these bizarre ransom notes are being sent out to smaller media outlets, with the exception of TMZ, which I would almost want to guess that the hoax ransom letter where charges were laid, that one might have gone to TMZ. I don't know that for a fact, but um that's interesting. Okay, yes, Ashley and the sheriff both said those things, Shar. Okay, good. Does Annie have a different father? I haven't heard that, have you? Ashley Banfield's reported daughter's car was towed second day of missing? Really? But yet Nancy's car was only towed yesterday? Is that accurate? Because if that's true, that's suspicious. Ashley Banfield actually said that her source told her that Tommaso may be the primary suspect at this time, meaning that can change. Fair. Definitely the tone has changed. This time they address the kidnappers only, not Nancy. Claudia, I tend to agree with you. I do. You believe the hubby of the daughter might owe the cartel? This is what cartel does? Really? That's terrifying. Thank you so much for subscribing to Melissa. That's awesome. I'm behind in chat, as usual. I need a t-shirt that says Charmaine is behind in chat. Something could have been said at dinner like, no, I just gave you a loan. Sister seems bitter towards Savannah. And why hide their faces? They've been suspects since day one, per Ashley Banfield. You know, I thought, is it reasonable to think that Savannah is well off financially? Savannah may, I don't want to say support, but may, give mom financial benefits or whatever, because that's your mom, right? But maybe she didn't do the same for her sister. Is it possible that there's some jealousy or sense of entitlement there that she wasn't? I don't know these people. I hate to judge. If the daughter and her husband were involved with this somehow, this would be tragic. Especially looking back and thinking that, you know, we're going to sit on the couch beside our sister and plead for our mother's return, well-being, whatever they're pleading for in this last one, the simply the return for peace. But if her and her husband had something to do with it, to be able to sit there with her siblings. Joining late, did anyone clarify if it was the son-in-law or Annie who drove her home? It is a massive detail, and I heard, so we read that it was Tommaso who drove her home, but I also heard, I think it was even today that I heard that both of them drove her home. Is it a scar or is it like a legitimate scratch? How long is this ransom ploy going to go on by the people who took her? Probably as long as they can get away with it. if we don't believe that, I don't know. I don't believe that the ransom demand is real. I think that it's a distraction, a ploy to buy time. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there was a terrible accident that evening and it's all just trying to cover up and save Savannah and Cameron from serious heartbreak. I don't know. Blood droplets tells me she was slowly walking out the front door and looks like left arm, hand, or nose was dripping venous blood. Then stops where the car would park. Ashley Banfield vid for blood proof. Okay, I'm gonna give the floor over to you, Melissa, because I know Grendel sent me something to show, and you actually sent me something as well. And I want to hit both of them.
Okay. So somebody had said to look into the power of attorney. I'm sorry, I had to had the same problem that I texted you about a while ago. Look into power of attorney recently being changed. I agree, Kelly, that is important. And from what I understand, it was the son-in-law and the daughter that was the power of attorney, if I remember correctly. I caught part of Vinny's live. So that's kind of about the only main information, but something that, so we've talked about the Bitcoin being traceable. That was something that I had wrote down. But another thing I have wrote down is, so Nancy Ubered to Annie and the son-in-law's house. But the son-in-law, or Annie, gave her a ride back. So why didn't they also pick her up? Because if she needs help moving, if she has mobility issues, in my opinion, and this is just me thinking out loud, you guys can correct me if you want, but an Uber driver an Uber driver is not going to help. I guess that's not really the word I want, but they're not going to get out, make sure she gets out safely, make sure she gets in the car safely, make sure she gets out of the, you guys know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna, I mean, maybe someone, right? But like, that part doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't the brother-in-law, the son-in-law, go get her? And then as far as one thing that bugged me was the camera disconnecting and then movement being seen, but movement being detected, but nobody being seen on it, right? That screams inside job to me, because you would have to know, unless you're a hacker, you would have to know the password and everything to disconnect a camera and when to disconnect them. And I don't see that a hacker is going to go after an 84-year-old woman with health and mobility issues simply because one of her daughters is famous or on the news, or however you want to word it. That part doesn't make sense to me. So they're not going to go through that. I haven't seen, Michelle, you're saying that the camera was smashed, but nowhere in anything that I have seen, and keep in mind, I don't know a lot about this case. Charmaine had said something about doing a live. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. It was very spur of the moment. And I'm having some issues, so I have to keep disappearing. But it doesn't say that the camera was smashed. It says at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera, which is probably a Ring because that's the most popular, so I'm going to go with that. The Ring was disconnected. And then software detected someone on one of the other cameras, but no video is available. What? 12, 15, 25 minutes later. So that person has disconnected the camera, and within about 25 minutes later, someone is suspected to be at the home but not on the camera. And then you've got 16 minutes later at 2:28 a.m., so early morning hours, her pacemaker app, the app is disconnected from her phone. Does that mean somebody who has a pacemaker or knows more about them than me, because I know very, very little about them, does that mean the app on her phone, or does that mean communication from the pacemaker to the phone? But either way, it's disconnected. So I don't see, like, those store information, so it doesn't necessarily disconnect. The pacemaker will still show irregularities in an event, i.e., a heart attack, okay, or time that the heart stops beating. Exactly, Dana. That's what I'm saying. It's still going to record that, but it's saying, it specifically says the application, the pacemaker application was disconnected from her phone, not the pacemaker itself. And to me, that is very important. The words matter. When police tell you something and they send out a timeline, those words and the things that they are saying matter. So the doorbell, the Ring disconnects. I forget how many minutes I said later. The software detects somebody on the property but doesn't pick it up on camera, on a different camera. So that tells me it's probably not a hacker, right? Because they would have, or a jammer, because they would have jammed all of them. In my opinion, somebody correct me. Charmaine, if you see anything, jump in and tell me, because I'm not looking at comments right now. And then you've got the app itself disconnecting. So those are some things that really stick out to me. And in the first, so I already went over in the last technically video that was released of the kids speaking, my issues with it. And the one that we just played from Court TV, Annie's tone to me seems off. I'm not saying Annie had anything to do with it. I'm just telling you, to me, her tone sounded off. And the brother's body language was not one of concern. It was just, yeah, we love you. Come on. Like, you guys see what I mean? Those things bug me. They just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel like this was more of an inside job than a cartel or a random person. Because if I'm going to kidnap somebody, I don't care who you are. You can be the president. I'm not going to send a ransom note to a news outlet. I'm going to send the ransom note to the White House or to the family. Or if I'm going to send it to a news network, I'm going to send it to the news network that the daughter works for, not TMZ or some other crap. And I would put in there what she wore, things of that. So that's why I said earlier, were those things correct? Now, by inside job, I hear she had a caretaker. Could it be the caretaker? Could it be somebody connected to the caretaker? Could it be the brother-in-law, like people are saying? There's too many red flags here that scream inside job for me to think it's anything but. TMZ is like the butthole of news media. Okay, yeah, they're funny, but I wouldn't consider TMZ news media. That's CBS, NBC, your local TV stations.
That's good insight there, Lottie. I did not know, but that makes sense now that you put it like that. It's like it's a Bluetooth, basically. Um, who
So
is
then
what
it didn't
moderator?
disconnect from the app, it just disconnected from her phone, is what you're saying?
Well, that's the same thing, right? Like the app would be on her phone, so. So what you see, if you're asking who my mods are, I've got a number of mods. They're the blue ones with the little wrenches. There's Grindel, there's Sailor Moon, there's Marie, there's a bunch of them. Anyways, so guys, on the screen, Secret Mutilator. Here's that band. Look at this up here. What is this? Validity par Satan. That's disturbing. Most recent is The Connection 3 months ago. I'm gonna play it. It's only a couple of minutes long. I'm gonna play it just to see what it's about. Do you hear that?
No.
All right, that's wildly disturbing. I don't like that. I don't like it. I didn't like that at all. All right, next. Okay, so Nancy Guthrie's son issues video to plea to her captors. Where is said video? Instagram video. See if I can open it in a new link.
Holding our mother. We want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you and we are waiting for contact. This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you and we are waiting for contact. This is
He seems pretty cool, calm, and collective, right? He has to be reading off something. Hey, Marie. You don't, yeah, you really don't hear any pleas in the last video that we saw. It's more of, okay, we understand, let us be at peace. Let us celebrate with her. It's totally different. Was this guy seen at the store? I don't know.
So
Go
I
ahead.
said a while ago about his body language and kind of the tone that he was using, but he uses the same one here. So at this point, I'm kind of starting to think maybe that's just his affect. Like Jack and Lily, Belinda has told us that Malaya was very monotone. She wasn't easily upset. So maybe he just has that same temperament, or is he trying to be like the family's pillar? If I don't break down, they won't break down.
So they're saying that Cameron is a fighter pilot, nerves of steel. Yeah. Military guy. That would make sense. Used to being under pressure. This is still his mom, though, you guys. Still his mom.
Yeah, I mean, prior military, that would explain the affect, but I mean, it like you said, it's still his mom. So to me, I don't know how to feel about him. something tells me this is an inside job. I just don't. I don't see anything pointing any other way. But I know when you guys were saying that it basically just disconnected from her phone because her phone was too far away, I was taking them saying that it disconnected. The app is disconnected from her phone, as in, like, the app was deleted or taken off the phone, not so much just out of range. Because it doesn't say that the pacemaker disconnected from the app. It says that the app disconnected from the phone. So I guess that's just depending on how you read it. Chris says, you couldn't be more wrong. Then tell me, because I don't know. I'm just now catching up on this case. So Chris, please tell me where I'm wrong. I mean, I'm open to it.
That's one part that really kind of made me wonder. This comment under Court TV's video here, and why, if you have cameras for your 80-year-old mom, would you not have at least cloud storage where you can pull the feed without the cameras, even if you don't have the full service? It wasn't a money issue. Wow, that's baffling to me. That's absolutely mind-boggling to me. And the other part is how many times the police have gone back to that to the house and then to Annie's house, and then Chat said that Nancy's car wasn't towed until last night. Like, what the actual heck is going on in Tucson?
But why tow her car? If she wasn't driving, if she didn't drive to the daughter's house for dinner, if she didn't drive herself home, then what would be the point of towing her car?
That's very true. Why won't they plead for her health, her age, how much they love her, need her? Well, they did the first time, right? They did the first time, and that's what makes it so devastating, I think, to hear the second one from last night. It was definitely definitely a different tone. It is so cheap to pay for subscription. It makes no sense to not have it. I agree. Life insurance on an 84-year-old in exchange for some Bitcoin. You motherfuckers are dumb as shit. She lived alone. Did anyone see Anne smile or smirk before Savannah read the first letter? It's right at the start. We can have a look. I don't recall. I mean, I was focused on Savannah. She was the one doing the talking at first, so I'll go back and have a look. Let's do that now, actually. Where are we? This is not it. This is not it. This is it. I was on it already, you guys. I was on it already. It is past my bedtime. Yes, I'm a prude. All right. Where we go? Where we go? Right about. Oh, come on. Wasn't that long, was it? Apparently it was. All right. Let's watch this again, and we're going to pay attention to Annie at the very beginning, okay? Let's keep our eyes on Annie.
And then think about, what are you going to say? And what can you possibly say to someone who may be holding your mother hostage?
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too.
I did see a little minor head shake there. Did you catch that, you guys? I did.
Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She's a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see. The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
I don't know. Am I crazy? That seemed genuine to me. Am I crazy? You guys? I sent you a
So
screenshot.
for me, Savannah seems natural, like genuine, and the rest of them, I mean, I'm not going to say they're not genuine by any means, but it's odd to me that the newscaster is the one showing the most emotion here when she's covering cases and things that would make most people break down. She's got to keep that behind a wall, right? Yeah, it's her mom, so that may be why she seems emotional and not covering it up. But the one who is used to covering it up is not, whereas it feels like the other two siblings just are. And okay, I give him a break. He's military, so he's good at compartmentalizing. I don't know. It just seems off. Something is off. What that is, I don't know.
Okay, I've got power of attorney docs. Thank you, Deborah. I can zoom this in. I tried. This is great. So Tommaso Cioni, the principal, signed my name to this power of attorney this day of May 16th, 2025, and being first duly sworn, do declare to the undersigned authority that I sign and execute this instrument as my power of attorney, and that I sign it willingly or willingly direct another to sign for me, that I execute it as my free and voluntary act for the purposes expressed in the power of attorney, and that I am 18 years of age or older, of sound mind, and under no constraint or undue influence. Ooh. Know all men by these presents that Thomas Cioni, the undersigned principal, hereby makes, constitutes, and appoints Anne Pierce Guthrie, agent, my true and lawful agent for me, with all power and authority to act in my act in my name, place, instead, and for my use and benefit in any way which I myself could do if I were personally present to sell, convey, purchase, acquire, mortgage, or otherwise encumber, transfer, entrust, borrow money, and execute, and deliver notes, therefore loan money, and receive notes and security, therefore, and take or perform any other act necessary or appropriate regarding the real property described on Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference, the real property. In addition, my agent is specifically authorized to perform the following acts on his or her own behalf or for his or her own benefit, only if my witness and I initial each specific below. What? Oh, specific act below. The principal and the witness must each initial the corresponding blank space below with respect to each act listed, for which the principal wants the agent to have authority. If a blank space for any specifically described act is not initialed, no authority will be granted for matters that are included in that section. So, accept payment of a commission, fee, or other compensation in connection with the real property. Accept payment of all or any portion of the proceeds from the sale or financing of the real property. And execute any and all document necessary to complete the sale, purchase, and financing of subject property described herein.
So that's for the brother-in-law?
That's who did it. Just a minute. So Jennifer Weschler is the name of the witness. Sign my name to the foregoing power of attorney being first duly sworn and do declare to the undersigned authority that the principal signs and execute this instrument as his or her power of attorney, and that he or she signs it willingly or willingly directs another to sign for him or her, and that I, in the presence and hearing of the principal, sign this power of attorney as witness to the principal's signing, and that, to the best of my knowledge, the principal is 18 years of age or older, of sound mind, and under no constraint or undue influence. This power of attorney gives the person whom you designate your agent broad powers to handle your real property, which may include powers to pledge, sell, or otherwise dispose of real property without advance notice to you or approval by you. What?
Does that mean he can just sell it without her permission?
That's what I'm reading. Is seeking public assistance with any. Oh, so this is separate. But what is the real property? Do you know what I mean, Deborah? What is considered the real property? I thought that this was like for sure to do with Nancy herself, but this is a separate. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Savannah called Senator Kelly before it went public. Really? Really? Oh, is it even before they start the video? We can have another look. I don't mind. Same people who think this is fake are the same people who believe that 15 years old is barely legal. I hope I'm reading that right because 15 years old is nowhere near legal, correct? Are we on the same
That
page,
troll
babe?
got deleted.
Okay. I was thinking like, what? Am I that far behind in chat? Probably. Sailor Moon, we need t-shirts. Charmaine is 20 minutes behind in chat. Annie got a $600,000 mortgage by Mama last year. She couldn't afford it. Interesting. Interesting. They seem to be emotionally detached because they have been prepped to use precise words. Also, they are exhausted, I'm sure. It looked to me, and I could be wrong, but it looked to me like Savannah was reading something that could have been placed on the floor directly in front of her. She was leaned over quite well, and she was looking down. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't look down too, but I'm saying it looked like she had a specific spot she was looking from, could very well have been reading.
But
I
I would
think
not blame them if they wrote out their statement ahead of time and were reading it. That would not surprise me. That would not, seem odd to me because they want to get everything out. You can't go back and say, well, I wish I would have said X, Y, and Z. So I agree. It sounded like they were all reading Savannah and Annie. But again, I would think that they would do that just so they have everything out that they want to say.
Is this accurate? Are you Babu's or yeah, Babu's? Love it. Love your name. But is that accurate? Because that smells like motive to me. It's 4
I
a.m.
agree.
Lottie, thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you again. I know you're probably gone. I apologize.
So, Charmaine, I starred 2 comments. You asked what real property was, and Alita Hauser, I'm not even going to try to say it. Alita and CJ Mack both said, one said real property is home and land. CJ Mack said real property in Arizona is real estate.
Okay. I'm this channel, like I do my best to keep up with chat, but there's just no way I can do it today. It's driving me nuts because I want to read what everybody says. Is it odd Savannah isn't staying with Annie at her house? She got a hotel, is what I heard. Even heard Annie also left her house. I heard that yesterday too. I heard that Savannah was staying with Annie for a few days, but they're both in hotels now. And that could very well have something to do with the search of Annie's home yesterday, Copper. Could. It was very kind of Trump to offer any resources they needed at immediate moments use to not delay, etc. Admirable of him with their history, and now she said she's grateful for Trump's call. It's always nice to get support. I really don't think Nancy would sign such papers because she was sharp as a tack, and I that's what I heard. I heard. Why would she need a power of attorney? That is odd. Annie was dipping funds from the trust account as a trustee. I was a trustee and had access to all banking funds to pay bills. I was the beneficiary too, but a trustee should only pay bills. So was she taking cash out as well? All roads lead to finances. I mean, it's the root of all evil, am I right? I listened to Senator Kelly's interview several times to make sure I heard him correctly. He said before it went public, Savannah called him and then called sheriff and police department. Really? Wow. I live in Tucson and do mortgages for a living, just for what it's worth. Excellent. It's good to have you here. I was in, no, never mind, I wasn't. I was in Phoenix a couple of years ago. Most of the ransoms are fake, and one dude in California with a safety pin earring, and there's another dude, really. The Phoenix FBI field office helped catch, so those 2 are fake. Wow. How cold-hearted do you have to be to try to fucking capitalize on this kind of stuff? Like, the absolute scum of the earth. If they harmed her after they signed that paper, that makes it non and void. Good. Good. Not odd they left, in my opinion. Imagine the press and media outside, as well as maybe they needed to take over the property as part of the investigation. But the media alone would be enough to leave. Yeah, they're lined up there. Crazy. You haven't seen nothing yet. Wait until Patel pulls up. No dementia? Okay. I'll take your word for it. Probably medical reasons. It's good to have power of attorney just in I would get it. I would understand that just in case something like, tragic happens. Yeah.
I have a power of attorney.
But why I don't know. I mean, if she had that kind of trust in Annie and her husband and not just allow Savannah or a lawyer to do it, maybe there was no discord there, you know? Because usually when, um, I don't want to call them kids, but usually when elderly are murdered by members of their family, there's usually some kind of background of, discontent. And if they just got power of attorney back in May, I don't know. American Justice, Melissa, she's phenomenal. You guys help a gal out. She's just brand new, trying to get to 500 subs. Head over and sub, please. If she was responsible for the bills, maybe why camera bill wasn't paid. Who? You're talking about Annie. If she was in charge of paying the bills. Hmm. Yeah. He refused a polygraph. Are you serious? Well, that's not suspicious.
Where's that information at, though?
Yeah, I don't know. It's in the chat. I trust everybody. They could tell me anything right now and I trust them. Hey, my stepbrother and his wife was doing that to my dad before he left this world. I uncovered their crime. I took it to his bank, had his account seized. Wow. Low. Yes, negative on dementia. We would have gotten a turquoise alert. Right. We just remember, Melissa, we just read about the turquoise alert in Arizona. I think that was last week.
Yep.
Gain
But
time. That's
the turquoise alert was for indigenous people, is what I found out.
yeah, but it was indigenous and vulnerable. Like it was the same as vulnerable persons. So and it was actually on the news too, a news story for something else. Yeah. I heard that Savannah actually she was top of her class. She took the bar exam and she got the highest score. So I believe she still is an attorney. A trustee account is to avoid probate court and taxes on death. The trust allows bill to be paid for elderly parents or grandparents. Yeah.
So supposedly Justin said that
Oh,
about the
Justin
poly.
said, okay. Okay. One thing is for sure, whoever did this will not get away with it. Almost arrest time. Yeah, you can kind of sense it. I wonder, is there anything going on right now with the case? Like, is anybody boots on the ground live streaming? Where's JLR at? Is he doing his thing? You guys see that? No? Good. All right. I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go. I don't see anybody else live streaming. Dolly Vision is, I guess. I don't really, honestly, I don't watch JLR. I don't even think I'm subscribed to him. But I do really, really love Pascal. Wonder if you guys has everybody heard of Pascal? Sorry, I'm looking for him. Sorry, looking for him on my list. CJ, thank you so much. I can't see mom. Oh, wait. Not true about polygraph. I listened to an interview from a retired officer from Pima County today with Brian Enton. I saw that too. They do not do polys there. Don't have the tech nor the readers. Good to know. Thank you. We should watch that because that was very informative. I can't see mom giving her power to her in-law and not all three. Seems like the other two had their heads on straight and she wants it all to go to her daughter who has this wild and out husband. Huh. Yes, I did see that. Gary Brucado's on his stream as well. So then why would she sign her name to that paper? Okay, let's have a look at the paper again.
But
What
is
did
that
that
her
look?
verified signature?
That's what I'm gonna look at. Um, I've got it shared on my screen. Oh, there we go. Is what her verified signature, guys? Where? Her signature ain't on here. That is a Jennifer Weschler, and this looks like a Danielle. It looks like this missing portion, like the missing persons portion, could be covering up where her signature would go, but I don't see her signature.
If her signature isn't on the power of attorney, that has the stamp, and that does say unofficial copy, but if her signature is not on it, then it's not legal, because when I signed my power of attorney, I had to sign it, my power of attorney had to sign it, and the notary had to sign it.
So I'm not saying that this isn't, but we're not, my point is we're not seeing the whole document, right? And unofficial copy, so I'm saying that the whole thing could have nothing to do with Nancy. Because honestly, why would they be naming Tommaso power of attorney for Nancy? Why wouldn't it be Annie? Even if it wasn't going to be, definitely. I mean, in any case, if they're claiming that, then it needs to be investigated, and that would be the quickest way to get caught. Dumb, 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 dumb. It was emailed to me. It was emailed to me. It's a trustee account. Official copy probably would, but what I'm saying is I don't think. I mean, it looks like it's stamped. This would be the stamp, you guys. This is the witness, which is probably the lawyer. But then who's this person? This instrument was
That person
subscribed.
has a number beside their name, so that's probably the notary signature.
Mm. So Matt Blank or Blanc Inc. Hashtag help find me on X, you guys. You can go take a look. Maybe you'll be able to dig that up. I'd like to know how often Savannah visited her mom. Sounds like she may have been out of the loop. Yeah. What's the date on it? So it's May 16th, but then the date it was signed. 16th of May 2025. So same day. Same day. I don't know what to make of that. I'm I'm real close to calling bullshit on that whole thing. Courthouse will have record. Yeah. Who stamped? Let's Google them. All right. Yes, ma'am. Mod extraordinaire. Oh boy. I wouldn't be able to make that name out if I tried.
Can you zoom in
Material
any
world is a
closer and look
place.
at the stamp itself?
No, that's as far in as it zooms. Drat. No. That's as far as it zooms in.
Okay, so
I think
Google Pima County notary with that number then, maybe.
you might be able to do it being in, USA. No, Annie. It's odd. I call bullshit on this because why wouldn't she name her own children? Oh, is he live? Okay. I don't mind him. He's good. He's good. He's good. I quite enjoyed watching his Stephen Stearns content, I guess. All right. I was looking for yeah, see, I think CNN just does like around the clock. Did everybody see the Border Patrol dude take Brian Enton into the area out by Nancy's house? He went back in there and you could actually see the terrain and how very difficult it would be to see anything going on. There's some kind of a nighttime ordinance or something where you're not allowed to have light. Hey, Lynn. What do you mean? What do you mean? You've seen it? I want to watch it really quick because I don't think Melissa's seen it, and then we'll watch the other one with the retired, I think it was the deputy chief of that area, retired, who did one today, who did an interview with Brian today, and then probably gonna call it a night. I don't know about you, but it'll be 5 hours live streaming for me today. That's a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna play this. It's good. It's good. This is kind of right behind um the same area that Nancy lives in. So this is what they're dealing with out there.
Way to walk in there.
Everything is like got thorns too, huh?
Everything's got thorns. And I think the difference is people hear desert landscape and they almost think that it's nothing but sand and you could see so this is basically the brush. And as you walk further in, these are called, this is the actual wash. These are the washes. We haven't walked too far, but if you go this way, and here I will show you, if it's dark out here, or even now, vehicles can go through this neighborhood and they're not going to see anybody in this area again.
Well, and so there's a house there. There's a lot of space in between the houses. Everyone keeps asking me, "Oh, people have cameras. Can't they see the cars going by?" But this shows, like, there's all this brush in between.
There's no way you would be able to see with some of these cameras. You would not be able to see the street.
Yeah.
I mean, here where we are at right now, people can be walking up and down that road and they're not going to see us. Now imagine this at night.
And that's the area, Natasha, right near Nancy's home where we went into the desert. And you heard him mention at night. I mean, when it gets dark out here, it is pitch black. They actually have an ordinance here for stargazers. So you're not even allowed to have bright lights. And these neighborhoods, they're totally dark. And remember, investigators believe that Nancy was kidnapped around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it would have just been pitch black out here.
Like a trail where you know which way to walk in.
All right, that was News Nation. That's not Brian Enton. Here's Brian. Which one was it? This one.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking.
I'm going to mute him while he plays through until we get to that part again. So allegedly, and excellent to know, thank you so much, you guys. His power of attorney is executed by Tommaso for his wife, Annie, so his wife can do his business. Maybe he was going to have surgery or something or go out of the country for a period of time, not Nancy. Thank you. That makes much more sense. Thank you very much. And also to Graph Gold. Thank you. Thank you very much. She's not a notary. Sounds like a them problem because it's got nothing to do with Nancy. Used to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. Very different terrain, very dark at night, very rough ground. So my daughter got married in the desert in Mesa, and it was late afternoon in February. I have a really good idea of the terrain. However, it was all daytime, so I didn't even notice. We were staying at a B&B, and I didn't even notice that there were no like lights. But now you're saying it's actually a full moon, so it would have been very bright that night. Interesting. Why have we not seen Tommaso? Excellent question. Sadly, working as a legal assistant, I've seen it all. Normally, a trust is to protect money and allow bills to be paid by a trustee. Shady family members can be evil. I can imagine. Money. It's rare that a senior would pick a son-in-law over a child. Yeah, so that was power of attorney for Annie to take care of his own finances. Right? Marie is, she's pretty resourceful. She already found her co-worker of Tommaso's. Tucson has a big crime problem. They're downplaying it. All the drugs and people come from Mexico through Tucson, and there's a ton of crime. So I question everything Tucson PD says. Fair. The moon would make a huge difference. Okay. I'm hoping that he gets into it with this dude. Nope, not yet, not yet, not yet. All right, we'll start right there. And
I want people to know that we're extremely close because I don't want them to come after you and say, "Oh, you wasn't even close."
No, we are
We're
close.
walking distance, right?
Yes, yes.
We're trying to avoid all the other media.
Yes.
So we're out here to show the reality because people don't understand how bad the terrain would be for someone to easily find a person or track somebody. With the United States Border Patrol, you're taught different tracking skills, and I think that's what helps. But this is the terrain where we're used to walking through and trafficking, trying to track traffickers of human smuggling and drug smuggling. But the way this is called a wash. A lot of people don't use this terminology, and as we walk through here, you'll see this is kind of like a trail where you know which way to walk in there. You're going to have some broken branches in this area.
Everything is like got thorns too, huh?
And I think the difference is people hear desert landscape and they almost think that it's nothing but sand and you could see so this is basically the brush. And as you walk further in, these are called, this is the actual wash. These are the washes. We haven't walked too far, but if you go this way, and here I will show you, if it's dark out here, or even now, vehicles can go through this neighborhood, and they're not going to see anybody in this area of the bush. Now, this is called the wash. When it rains, you get water through here, of course, but they're dry most of the time. So you can walk through these areas and pull up behind some of these houses.
You could drive into some of these areas.
There's some areas where you'd be able to drive. It'd be more difficult, but you could definitely drive maybe like a quad through here. And there's a house right there. And as if we continue walking through here, you'll see there's a house there. You probably couldn't see it when we were in the brush, but You're going through all this area, and at night, somebody that would know the terrain can walk through here, and literally, you wouldn't know. Okay. And as we've walked, we're probably what 20 feet from
Yeah.
the road, and we're from where we're standing, we can't see my truck anymore.
Well, and so there's a house there. There's a lot of space in between the houses. Everyone keeps asking me, "Oh, people have cameras. Can't they see the cars going by?" But this shows, like, there's
This
all this
shows
brush in between.
there's no way you would be able to see with some of these cameras. You would not be able to see the street.
Yeah.
I mean, here where we are at right now, people can be walking up and down that road, and they're not going to see us. Now imagine this at night when it is completely dark, and there are no there's no street lights out here. There's absolutely no street lights. So that just adds to how difficult it is. And if you do have some type of ring camera and it's dark and you have this, you're really not going to get much out of a ring.
So what is the deal? I keep hearing about this ordinance where it has to be dark out here. What is that?
So there's an ordinance that they have in areas of Pima County and the city of Tucson against light pollution. And I think it was more to attract people that want to come and see the stars. There's the university here has an astronomy program that also helps. However, I hate to Monday morning quarterback it, and I hate to tell other law enforcement how to do their job. But I've been in law enforcement for over 2 decades in the state of Arizona. If there is an ordinance in an area that you're working some type of crime, I find it really difficult to use an excuse of I didn't bring the lights out because there's a light pollution ordinance. I would have brought those lights out here, especially knowing the terrain. I would have brought the lights out here because it helps you find out what happened. If there's a criminal in the area, it's easier to find him. And above all, you're working against the clock. So if you're working against the clock, the quicker you get resources out here, the better. I would never not use lights out here based on a city ordinance, especially if a crime's been committed.
So did they not use lights because of that? Is that
So
what
that's
you
the
heard?
thing, yeah. So the sheriff came out, he did an interview, and he said that, there's this particular area, there's that ordinance on light pollution, so that's why they didn't bring some lights out here.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
That's what happens when you're dealing with a lot of red tape sometimes, and the bureaucracy of doing the police work and everything else that comes with it. But look, I think if I'm in a leadership position with an agency and something like this occurs, I'm bringing flood lights, and I'll deal with a lawsuit later.
Did you see the ransom note?
I have seen the ransom note. I have. I'm not going to get into specifics, and I don't want to get into specifics.
Understand.
Specifically because from a law enforcement side, I understand why they're not releasing it, why they're not getting to specifics, and I understand the urgency. And I think this is important because I've seen the letter. I think there's an urgency where if it's legit, the captors, regardless of what's in the letter, in order to show that it's valid, they need to contact law enforcement. They need to contact the family somehow, because there needs to be specific questions that only the family would know in order to determine that they do have it, that it is valid, and that she is still alive.
And I don't want to ask you for specifics because I don't want to do anything to.
Right.
Again,
That's where
I don't
stand.
want. That's the last thing I would ever want
Correct.
to do. Like, what's the point in that? I want them to find Nancy, but I am curious, just based on your background. Like, did you find it to feel like legit?
I think it's legit enough, but more questions should be asked of them if they're the real captors in order to verify it 100%.
Okay. And since you're from here, I'm not from here, like I said, I don't know
Right.
anything about the sheriff, but just covering it this week, he's had some mixed messaging. I don't know, there's been some weird moments. He's done a lot of interviews. What is his history? I mean, is he?
Well, he's been a sheriff for a long time, right? Obviously, I believe he lost one election and he came back and he won an election again. We're where we're at right now. He's been in police work for a long time, but this is what I've always said, and I get criticized for it. There's a difference between having 1 year experience in law enforcement or having 20 years experience in law enforcement. And then there's guys that have 1 year experience 20 times in law enforcement. I don't want to criticize him and say he falls under that area. But when you have a crime of this nature, and the world is watching us right now, and other resources are being brought in, the FBI is being brought in. I know Border Patrol has been out here and helped. I think when you see that, it's almost a skill set. You need to make sure you pick from the right skill set in order to get everything done. At the end, it's law enforcement. We all are on the same team. We should be on the same team. And the ultimate goal is to find Nancy, bring her home safe. And at the same time, we need to find out if there's any individual out there that is the cause of this, bring him to justice and make sure that he faces true consequences.
You
Couldn't agree with that guy more. That's crazy. That that light pollution? Really? That doesn't seem safe at all. I got a couple of emails, you guys, and just really quickly, because I think it's important. So, so somebody sent me one story early on, reported Nancy did not show up for church, and that caused someone to notify the family. But then another report soon after that said no, Nancy had not physically gone to church for some time due to some disability. She tuned into a podcast church service, which I know a lot of church services do that now. And then another email said that one report said that Savannah paid for Nancy's house and Anna's house, which I would believe. And Tommaso's band member is a public defender, has been mentioned on other reliable channels. Let's have a look at that. Oh, it's a restricted. Oh, it's restricted. So it's restricted. That's interesting. And for you who's sending me emails, no, you're sending it to my email address. I do have my email open at this very second, but as soon as I do that, now my email is no longer open. So online church says 2020. Interesting. You don't think it's real kidnapping? Talking too much? They lost a lot of time. They did. Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. And so just one more video, you guys, because I think that the interview that Brian did today with the retired where is it? The retired deputy sheriff. I want to say he was the deputy sheriff. I think it was good. How long is that one? I think this is it. Just give me one sec.
In the initial stages of the investigation from that residence, well, one was not like in the city proper, city of Tucson. We're on the outskirts. We're in the city. Everything's, bunched up next to each other. So yeah, it's very peaceful.
just with your experience and knowing the area locally is really helpful. I just want to start with the most recent thing. Last night I was out there at Annie's house, and we saw 3 deputies come, and they had not a ton of equipment, but one bag and box. They went inside, and they were inside for about 3 hours. We saw flashes, definitely camera flashes from different rooms in the house. What do you think was happening?
Well, they were obviously sent back there to find something. How that something came about, I don't know. I'm sitting on the outside like you, but it could have been through an interview. It could have been through some of the forensic stuff that they had sent out to be processed. So there's a myriad of reasons why they could have been back there. But suffice to say, at least they were back there, following up and continuing the investigation.
The one I saw was wearing blue gloves.
Okay.
Do you think they were just taking pictures?
Well, I mean, you got to think about it again. It should be treated as a crime scene, whether it's Nancy's house or Annie's house. So you want to make sure that, you're not going to leave any evidence that contaminate the scene. So that's why they were wearing gloves, I'm sure. But what they collected, we don't know.
I didn't see them bring. They brought one brown bag out, but he didn't seem like he kind of tossed it in the car. Like it didn't. I think it was more maybe what he was, some kind of work he
Sure,
brought.
could have been, it could have been scraps or garbage. They could have collected, some pieces of evidence in there. Maybe they were fingerprinting, maybe they were collecting DNA, maybe they were simply just taking photographs. And that's the stuff, that they may have brought out. It could have been trash from, their processing, or it could have been pieces of evidence.
Are you surprised that they were just doing that now? I mean, it's been 7 days.
Right. Well, it's not really a surprise if you think of it in the grand scheme of things, where you're continuing furthering an investigation and you're getting more information as it goes. So you may have to go back to the scene of the crime, or other places that you just discovered may have been part of a scene of a crime. I think what my concern was is maybe that house should have been processed the same day as the first house. And I don't know if it has been. I don't have any inside information, but from the outside, that's kind of what it looks like, is maybe that stuff wasn't done first and, you know, they had to go back because they did get some type of information.
Would it be normal for just 3 deputies to show up? And they didn't put any crime scene tape up. It
Right.
kind of seemed low key. Whereas like at Nancy's house, when the FBI came back, it was a big production. What does that say?
Well, it doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. You know, it could be those 3 detectives were tasked at a briefing, which they should be having multiple times a day, or at least once a day, daily, because you're getting new information in. So it could have been simple as, you know, a sergeant or a lieutenant or a captain saying, hey, we need to go back to the house and get this. Let's keep it low key. We don't want to cause a lot of trouble in the neighborhood. There's already enough ruckus going on, you know, at the other scene. Maybe that's what it was, just to go in low key and not make a big disturbance.
Is the timing strange that they went at night?
No, because you got to go when you find the information. So maybe it was something they just discovered yesterday in the afternoon. They had to have a briefing and formulate a plan, a course of action, and then they went back. So that stuff could happen. And
You saw the latest message from Savannah?
I saw the message last night.
Yeah. What do you make of it?
Well, again, being from the outside, but using my training and experience, thinking back on the, you know, numbers of homicides that I've investigated, I don't think it's going to have a positive outcome, you know, of Nancy being returned alive. I think it was more of, this is just a guess, thinking it was more of, hey, you know, we intended to bring her back to you. Unfortunately, you know, circumstances happened, but we still need to get paid, and we'll return, you know, her remains to you, or let you know where they are for X amount of money. But that's just me. That's just my feeling on what I saw last night. I'm praying and have been praying that, you know, she is returned whole and healthy. But last night's video from Miss Guthrie, you know, caused me some concern about that happening.
It's so unusual that we have the video coming out, but then also the search at Annie's house. And I mean, could there be multiple theories that they're working at the same time?
Look, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. My 7 years in homicide, 20 years as a cop, investigated a couple of kidnappings, but I think for the most part, kidnappings, especially in this local neck of the woods, southwestern Arizona, a lot of it has to do with cartel-related kidnappings, drugs, you know, smuggling, people smuggling, avocado smuggling, whatever. This is different. You know, I don't think that has anything to do with what this case is. But then again, you could have somebody that jumped on the bandwagon right away, saw what was going on, sent a ransom note, just trying to extort money from Miss Guthrie and her family, like we did with the 1 or 2 others, one of which, you know, was arrested. And it could be a red herring. And they're still trying to figure out where she is. So yeah, it's a bit confusing.
The area where this happened, I mean, Annie lives 10 minutes from Nancy. You live right in this area, so
Yes.
You're very familiar with the area. Is it a quiet area normally? I mean,
Nancy's and
Annie's,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. This is an extremely quiet neck of the woods. I mean, most of the houses are on 1-acre lots. This whole area was bought by the Genemattis family back in, I think, the 40s, and then subdivided the lots. And, you know, that's where it is. It's not like in the city proper, city of Tucson. We're on the outskirts. We're in the city. Everything's, you know, bunched up next to each other. So yeah, it's very peaceful. This type of crimes that occur up here are, you know, car break-ins, burglaries. Obviously, we've had a few homicides throughout the years. We have a lot of transients that live in the area, a lot of sex offenders that are in this, you know, neck of the woods. So it's very quiet, but there is that underlying criminal element that, you know, every once in a while will rear its ugly head.
Would it be an easy place to get away from? I mean, it's very dark out there at night.
It's extremely dark on this side of town. it would be extremely easy to, commit a crime and get away. You have a lot of avenues approach in Annie's neighborhood, much like mine and Nancy's. There's multiple routes to come in and come out. So we have a main thoroughfare here, Oracle Road. The highway is 4 miles to the west of us, down Ina or Orange Grove or River Road. I don't know how many, traffic cameras. I see, we have a couple here, but they're not monitored by law enforcement. They're monitored by the DOT, the Department of Transportation, to monitor the traffic. And I don't know how long, they hold, video in the cloud or whatever, but those are some things that I would, be looking at. A quick avenue of escape. The highway is right here. The main freeway is right over there. So there's cameras abound. It's just whether or not, we're able to get access to them and see if there's anything on.
You were on the inside for a long time here. You know Pima County.
Yes, sir.
They've been under the microscope. A lot of people are questioning things that they've done. Do you think they're prepared for this?
Well, look, when you're conducting an investigation such as this, there's a lot of things that can go right and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You're getting bombarded. I mean, I can't even imagine. I worked the Gabby Giffords case. I was in homicide at that time. I was at the Safeway for nearly a week. And the amount of tips that come in, they range from the wackadoo to what you think would be normal. Psychics, you're just getting bombarded with those things, and you have to suss your way through that to determine, what you're going to follow up on and what you're not. I think at the Sheriff's Department in the past, few years since I left, there's been a mass exodus, which has drained the department of experience. I've heard things, whether they're true or not, it's just information that I've heard, is that the average experience for a patrol deputy is like 3 years. That's a baby cop, right? They've a year in academy and field training, and now you're out on the street. Mistakes are going to be made. And I think that has happened the same thing in the homicide unit, is all of the tenured men and women that worked there that had years and years of homicide experience working half of what the city of Tucson got every year. So we're looking at between 15 to 20 homicides a year. We used to investigate when I was in. Now they're averaging in the county maybe 4 or 5 a year. And the detectives that are in homicide, that makes them less experienced because they're not having the exposure to real life homicides. Just because you're in homicide doesn't mean you're the case ace, but you're going to get experience by going out and interviewing, looking for evidence, downloading videos, reaching out and getting subpoenas or search warrants. And I think that experience or lack thereof, has shed its light on this case. That being said, I do know that, the detectives and the deputies that work for the Sheriff's Department here are top notch. They're very level-headed. They're very knowledgeable, but only to a certain extent.
Were you surprised?
It is tragic if you think about that. It is. It's a sad state, and I wonder, all these thoroughfares and escape routes that he was talking about. Are you telling me that there's no ring cams, no surveillance, nothing that could have caught a strange vehicle coming or going, or even Annie's vehicle, just to kind of corroborate their time of dropping her off and, leaving the house? And then another part to that is what is their actual last proof of life? Are they considering that to be like when her pacemaker disconnected? Like, when are they considering the last proof of life? I'll give it to you for a couple of minutes, Melissa, and then I have an email that was sent to me with band members' background. I guess he's a public defender, but I have his resume. We'll look at it really quick, and then I'm going to end it. But what do you think of that stuff, Melissa?
So before I go into that, So Catherine, you said who deleted the app? That is something I said. That is something I said. That's how I took something. It's not been said that the app was deleted. That is just how I took the fact that her phone was disconnected from the app. So I just wanted to clear that up so we don't have misinformation out there. You ask about the cameras, and I would think something he said is that the DOT is in charge of the cameras. So I would assume, or hope anyway, that law enforcement has reached out to the state and said, hey, we need access to the cameras along this route um, due to an investigation. But as far as proof of life, I would assume that her ring camera um, seen her get dropped off. That's an assumption. I don't know for sure, but I would assume if it wasn't the ring camera that they're going off of what the family said. And I think that them having a light ordinance is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. When it comes to a missing person, especially when you have blood or other bodily fluids and you think it's a kidnapping, screw your light ordinance. We're going to get lights out here. We're going to light it up. We're going to investigate, deal with the rest later. That just them not doing that is surprising to me. But that terrain that they were walking in with the interview previous to this, I don't see somebody kidnapping somebody and then walking through all those cactuses and everything else in the dark or even with a flashlight. Arizona, y'all got snakes. Y'all got things that poke and bite. No, thank you. I wouldn't. Somebody got more balls than me.
Absolutely. Like I said, I've been out in the desert in Arizona, or a desert in Arizona, and there are so many things that you can trip on, step on. There is wildlife out there. Like, if there's no light, there's no way I'm not going. And then another, just really quickly, another email that I got with a question, which I don't know, and maybe we can like write this down for homework to try to find out. Maybe you guys know who from the church alerted the family that she didn't attend. Do we know that? Was it the pastor, or was it a friend? That that that's just another,
But if
just
she
another
was,
name that we can look at for possible, like if somebody was in regular contact with her, maybe that would be, somebody. I would think that the police have been talking to her friends and her confidants and people that maybe she had weird things happening, like, you know, they could get, well, they took the ring cam, didn't they? I thought that it was not just disconnected, but missing, wasn't it? I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but I would love to live in a climate like that. The hotter, the better for me. But the light, and I'll tell you something, Melissa. I don't know if you've ever been in, and I don't know if it's like this where you are, but I went to a Target, and I mean, it was so beautiful. Like the parking lot was so nice. Like the grass was, they actually had grass, not just but there were these big light posts that played music, and it wasn't quiet music, it was fairly loud music. But then out in the parking lot, they had ATM machines. And I remember thinking, that doesn't seem safe. Not only is there music playing, and I mean, it's probably pretty bright in the parking lot, but I don't know that I would stop at an ATM in the middle of a parking lot, like 100 meters away from the door and take cash out. I don't know if I would do that. But pretty, it's nice. It's a nice environment during the day, but all right. So Walter Goncalves, I'm gonna say Gonsalves, a federal public defender, District of Arizona, and this is allegedly a bandmate of Tomasso's. So interesting. He's presently the Federal Public Defender District of Arizona, third level supervisory assistant. Interesting. Zealously represent clients in federal courts charged with drug importation and other distribution, murder, sexual assault, illegal entry, bank robbery, and other felony and misdemeanor offenses. That is really interesting information. Works in progress for publication. Strive, a public defender's notes on practicing well. Book manuscript with interest by Southern Illinois University Press and University of Nevada Press. Interesting. The resume of a legitimate lawyer is pretty impressive. His interests, I don't see anything there about having a band. Runner, hiking, member of Al-Anon, member in good standing of Arizona Bar. Yeah, I don't see anything about his extracurricular activities as a band member, but doesn't mean it's not. Doesn't mean he's not. Anybody have anything to say about this in chat? And then, no proof with church member name. It was a streaming video, which is strange. Well, we do have some services are streamed as well, especially for the elderly or for moms who have, kids that they can't take in. It's just a way to include people that are used to being discluded because of circumstances or whatever. So they've started streaming their church services. I've seen it. Plus, I heard she had workers who checked or did work at the house and a guy to check, clean the pool. But, right, so, but this is a Sunday, right? Yeah, it was Sunday. So I would assume a lot of people were not scheduled to be there on a Sunday. They hurt her. I saw the blood that really did something to me. I was my mom's caregiver. She was 87. I'm sorry to hear that. The blood was odd. Just a few, not even little drops. There was like a significant amount, but it wasn't like a trail. It was a very short trail. No, as far as we know, no evidence where it started or that it stopped at one point, like maybe wrapped up or purposely put there. I don't know. Caregiver circulated. Do we know if the family really got a call saying that she didn't come to church? I don't know. All the talk about it possibly being Tommaso, could that have been something in the story to cover it up? Could have been. Doesn't doesn't it seem odd that Nancy was all alone in that big dark house? It definitely does not seem. But a lot of people, they're fiercely independent and they have a hard time giving up that independence. So, I think that's why she took a Uber. Guess we heard that and they played some kind of card game or something. Yes, she probably talked to her husband, Spirit, and Jesus. She probably felt safe. Most seniors downsize after a certain age. Some do. I mean, I would go with you. I'm with you. Most, but not all.
So I tend to believe, and well, not believe, but hear what Deanna, she said it wasn't a significant amount of blood. No, it wasn't. She could have bumped her skin. It was very thin, and a lot of elderly have very thin skin, so very possible. I tend to believe that. But as far as the church goes, that if the church is streaming online and she watches it from home, And how would they know she wasn't watching it? Like,
Yeah,
that's
I think I think that whole thing is to say that that tip or that story isn't true because she didn't actually go to church. I think that's the insinuation with that. Uh, That's why I was asking, like, has it ever been put out there who is the person at the church that alerted the family? So, I don't know.
I mean, unless you're going online and you're like chatting like we have chat here, and they're able to chat while they're live, and somebody's monitoring that and says, oh, normally Nancy says good morning or God bless you or amen or whatever, and she hasn't commented today. I could see that, but I don't know, that kind of, I don't know, that sticks out as weird to me, that would be the way it was put, that somebody realized she wasn't at church, you know.
She didn't sign on to the online stream. That's possible.
Possible,
That's
yeah, if they
possible.
have um where it's like a private stream, not like YouTube.
I mean, it could have been YouTube. It could have had some kind of a live chat or something. You never know. Like I mean, full transparency, I've never been to a live stream church service myself. I've never experienced that. Squidward, I love your name. Yeah, I think doctor told family, but can't say doctor because of some type of HIPAA. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense too. Yeah. Um, who bought her home after she left her daughter's home? I heard the son-in-law allegedly brought her home. Yeah, I heard that. And then I also heard that Annie and Tommaso took her home. I heard both. And that's saying something because I literally only started hearing about stuff yesterday. Not that I wasn't aware of it. I was watching Brian Enton and, but as for chatting, it's a different thing when you're doing a live stream and you're chatting with all of you who are following the case through all different sources and you have so much information. That's a completely different thing than just watching Brian Enton. They stated that the class member from the church actually went over to her house and couldn't get her to come to the door, but they waited almost an hour to call 911. Okay, I thought the family called the police. Didn't the church member call the family? Also, apparently, after Annie and boyfriend were alerted she didn't attend church, they were in the house for nearly an hour when they went to check on her before calling law enforcement. Odd. Oh, you church like that? Do you? I think there was a chat of some sort, could have been, which is weird, very weird. In my opinion, is she never made it home. The scene at her house was, Travis, get out of my head. I was thinking the same thing yesterday when Pascal was talking about this case. I was like, well, where's the proof that she ever actually made it home? If the ring camera's gone and none of the other video surveillance saved or uploaded or whatever, where's the proof that she was ever home? Her Apple Watch might have been home. Maybe because her pacemaker only disconnected at 2 a.m. or close to it. Could that be it? I don't know. But then they said no chat. Apparently there is a QR code to scan in, and she didn't scan in on that day. Okay, Zoe, thank you. If she ever comments during live, it shows her name, but they may have login requirements. YouTube as well. Huh. It was apparently a church congregant that alerted the family. Okay. Your old church does that? I do not know the grandkids' age. Nothing has been said. Thank you. I think something happened at Annie's house and they hatched this plan to cover it up. It is so possible. Uh, Okay, so
But how do we explain that her cameras were turned off?
I don't think they were turned off. I just think that you have, I can't remember where I heard it from, and chat can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't upload to save. So if you want them, you have to get them within 3 hours or something. But even that, I don't think you can download them. I
Well, it
don't know.
says that at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. So it was obviously connected for it to be able to disconnect at 1:47. So it was connected. So somebody disconnected it at 1:47 a.m.
Right. Right. And was that not right before her pacemaker disconnected as well?
The pacemaker disconnected at 2:28 a.m.
There's 40 minutes missing. Garage door closed at 10 p.m. too, and that was slightly, that was 8 minutes between the time that she was dropped off and the time that the garage door closed,
No,
correct? No?
no. The garage door opened at 9:48 p.m. and closed at 9:50 p.m. according to Vinny.
According to Vinny.
That's
Well,
what he
what was
said
that?
last night.
Yeah, but we had that timeline up. We had the timeline of, oh, for Pete's sake. Wanted to end this. Now I gotta go back. Guthrie Wiki. The disappearance of Nancy. I'm just quickly looking at this. 1:47 a.m. A doorbell camera at Guthrie's home disconnects. 2:12 a.m. Software detects someone on one of the other cameras, but no video is available. 2:28. Oh, I'm way ahead. Okay. 9:48. Guthrie is dropped off by her son-in-law and Annie's husband, Tommaso. 9:50. So you're right. Garage door closes at 9:50 p.m. at the same time Tommaso drives off. So, and I would assume that if this Uber, that would have been corroborated by law enforcement. But again, like usually, and maybe I'm wrong, but usually, if there's any kind of discrepancy in any kind of timeline or any suspicion, then they would want proof of life outside of the people who is closest to her. Does that make sense? So I wonder when law enforcement is considering her last proof of life. You know what I mean?
I can only think that that doorbell camera was active and seen her come home. And that's what they're considering proof of life because it says it disconnected. So it had to be connected, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think to me, and again, I don't know how this stuff works, but I think it would be more, I guess, accurate to consider her last proof of life to be the pacemaker. I know the data isn't sent somewhere, but it was disconnected at some point. 2:28 a.m. Guthrie's pacemaker app is so the app is disconnected from her phone.
See, that's why I thought it meant that the app was deleted because it says the app disconnects from her phone, not her pacemaker. It says the pacemaker app disconnects.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, you guys. Because an app goes on your phone. So the app was disconnected. The app was disconnected from her phone. That's I'm reading too much into it. But that's pretty straightforward language. Guthrie's pacemaker app is disconnected from her phone. Disconnected isn't deleted. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But where was the app to be disconnected from her phone? Is that literally just disconnecting the Bluetooth? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I was trying to get somebody to answer me earlier into what that meant.
I agree, Lauren. Disconnect being the word that can be totally misconstrued. That doesn't mean deleted. We're not being dumb. We're reading the actual words that are in front of us, and like it's pretty common knowledge that you put apps on your phone. So the way this is worded, it's somehow the app that's on her phone is somehow disconnected from her phone. However, to me, her pacemaker is connected to a Bluetooth that is installed on her phone, the app on her phone. So whoever said it earlier that the app disconnected from the Bluetooth at 2:28 a.m. because she probably got far enough away that it wasn't picking it up anymore. So to me, that makes sense.
So what would that distance be?
Well, I don't know how long. Do you have a Bluetooth speaker or something? Like it varies per device, but I'm sure um, you know, if I go from here into my living room, my Bluetooth speaker will disconnect. So, you know, 30 feet, maybe 50 feet for a good um device, you know? So not too terribly far. So app from pacemaker and ring cam simultaneously stopped. Um so 1:47 a.m. a doorbell camera at Guthrie's home disconnects. 2:12 software detects someone on one of the other cameras, but no video is available. And then it wasn't until 2:28, so like 40 minutes later, almost 40 minutes later, is when the pacemaker app is disconnected. So not simultaneously. You would think she would have Wi-Fi. But I don't know. 84, maybe she doesn't. Disconnected means in a mobile isolated user management operating offline without a server. Interesting. That seems the most likely, and then they realized that she was leaking or whatever and had to wrap her better. And that could be why it stopped. No, she doesn't. That's Annie's hand. Savannah's holding Annie's hand and Annie's finger sticking out. It's a optical illusion. And that's fair. We have no idea what law enforcement has.
And neither one of us know a whole lot about this case. We're just trying to talk it through and make sense of what we do know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with that, it's been over 2.5 hours. So this is our second live stream, or my second live stream today. So it's like 6 hours I've been streaming today. It's a lot for a Sunday. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It was good. I think I learned a lot from all of you. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's comments. If you wouldn't mind heading over to Melissa's channel, American_Justice, to give her a sub. She's trying to get to 500 subs. Baby channel. Just it's free to do. There's the link. It'd be great. And again, I appreciate everybody being here. I hope to see you back here again. And yeah, do you have anything you want to say?
No, not really. I mean, I pray that she's still alive and I pray that she comes home safely, but I think we all know, statistically what we're looking at here.
Really? Really, Roman? If we leave now, you're going to think we have something to do with it? Well, unfortunately, I have to go. I'm tired. But I'm looking forward to the next stream on this case, so I hope to see you all again. Thank you so much for coming and being here and spending your evening with me. Have a great week if I don't see you again. Thank you, Melissa, for coming. Thank you, mods. You're all very kind, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
We're going down.